The chamber was larger than anything most species had ever built. It floated in the dark space between stars, glowing with soft blue light. The walls were made of smooth metal and living crystal. Long curved windows showed endless space outside, filled with distant suns and moving ships. This was the Galactic Council Hall. The most powerful species in the galaxy sat here. Tall beings with shining skin, creatures with many eyes, cold, machine-like minds inside metal bodies. Each one was strong. Each one had conquered worlds. And today, they had gathered for something unusual. Humans. A small ship entered the station. It looked simple compared to the advanced alien vessels around it. No glowing weapons. No massive shields. Just a quiet, silver body moving slowly toward the docking port. Inside the council chamber, low voices began to rise. They are smaller than expected. They survived this long. They call themselves humans? Some of the aliens made strange sounds that meant amusement. Some laughed openly. The doors at the far end of the chamber opened. 3 humans walked in. They wore simple uniforms. No heavy armor. No advanced tech on display. Their steps were steady, but their presence felt different. Not powerful. Not threatening. Just calm. The laughter grew louder. One large alien, tall and covered in dark scales, leaned forward. His glowing eyes focused on the humans with clear disrespect. "So these are the new species," he said slowly. "This is what has requested entry into the Galactic Council?" More laughter echoed across the hall. A smaller alien clicked its claws together. "They look fragile. One hit and they break." Another voice added, "They have no history of conquest. No major wars beyond their own small world. They are not warriors. They are not hunters. They are nothing." The word spread across the chamber like a wave. The humans stopped in the center of the hall. One of them stepped forward. He was not the tallest, not the strongest, but his face was calm. His eyes were steady. He looked around at the powerful beings sitting above him. He did not look afraid. That alone made a few aliens pause. The tall, scaled leader spoke again, his voice filled with amusement. "You stand before the rulers of this galaxy," he said. "Tell us, human, why should we allow your kind to exist among us?" The chamber grew quiet. Everyone waited. The human did not rush. He took a slow breath. Then he spoke. "We are not the strongest," he said in a clear, steady voice. "We are not the fastest. We are not the most advanced." A few aliens smiled, thinking he was admitting defeat, but the human continued. "But we do not stop." Silence followed. For a moment, no one reacted. Then the chamber exploded with laughter, louder than before, stronger, mocking. The scaled leader leaned back, clearly entertained. "Do not stop," he repeated. "That is your strength." More laughter. "Endurance is meaningless without power. You survive until something stronger decides you should not." The human did not argue. He did not raise his voice. He simply nodded once. "As you say," he replied. The meeting ended soon after. The humans were dismissed. No alliance, no respect, no concern, just laughter. Days passed. The galaxy moved on. Trade routes stayed active. War fleets moved between systems. Planets lived their normal lives. Humans returned to their space. Quiet, watching, waiting. Far from the busy centers of power, on the edge of known space, a small human colony orbited a dying star. It was peaceful. Families lived there. Workers built new stations. Children played under artificial skies. No one expected danger. Then it came. Without warning, dark shapes appeared from hyperspace. Alien warships. Large, armed, silent. There was no message, no demand, no reason given. The first shot destroyed the colony's defense grid. The second hit the main habitat. Fire spread through the station. People ran. Lights failed. Systems shut down. Panic filled every corridor. Ships tried to escape. Most did not make it. The attack was fast. Clean. Complete. Within minutes, the colony was gone. Only debris remained, floating in silence. The news reached Earth. Every screen. Every network. Images of destruction. Broken stations. Lost lives. No explanation. No apology. No help. The Galactic Council did nothing. To them, it was not important. Humans were weak, replaceable, forgettable. On Earth, there were no loud speeches, no chaos in the streets, no emotional broadcasts, just silence, a deep, heavy silence. Leaders gathered in secure rooms. Military commanders watched the data. Scientists reviewed every detail. No one spoke for a long time. Then one voice broke the silence. "What do we do?" Another voice answered. "Calm, clear, we respond." A pause. Then a different voice asked, "Defend our borders?" The answer came again, stronger this time. "No." The room became still. The speaker looked at everyone present. "We do not defend," he said slowly. "We hunt." Order spread across human space. Quietly, quickly, shipyards changed their designs. Old fleets disappeared from public records. New ones were built in hidden locations. Faster, smarter, deadlier. Human systems went dark. Signals reduced. Movements hidden. To the outside galaxy, it looked like fear, like retreat. Back in the council chambers, the aliens heard the news. They saw the destroyed colony. They knew who had done it. Some approved. Some ignored it. None cared. Humans will learn their place. One leader said, "They will hide now." Another added, "They are not a threat." Laughter returned, soft this time, confident, certain. But far away, in the cold darkness between stars, something moved. Not loud, not bright, invisible, watching, tracking, waiting. The humans had not responded with anger. They had not begged for help. They had not shown fear. They had done something far worse. They had decided. And once humanity decided something, they did not stop. The galaxy did not notice the change at first. Trade routes were still open. Merchant ships moved between systems. War fleets followed their normal patrol paths. To most species, everything looked the same. But in the dark spaces between stars, something was different. Human signals began to disappear. Not all at once. Not in a way that caused panic. Just small things. Fewer transmissions. Less traffic. Quieter systems. To the alien observers, it looked like fear. "They are hiding," one officer reported to his commander. "Good," the commander replied. "Let them learn." No one looked deeper. No one asked why. On Earth, nothing looked unusual either. Cities were still alive. People still worked. Children still went to school. But far beneath the surface, in hidden facilities, something new was being created. Large shipyards worked without rest. Massive structures took shape in silence. These were not normal ships. They were not built for defense. They were built for pursuit. Human engineers studied every piece of alien data they had. Movement patterns, weapon systems, communication delays, weak points. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was wasted. Every mistake humans had ever made was now being used as a lesson. In orbit around a distant moon, a new fleet waited. Dark, silent, almost invisible. The ships were different from anything humans had built before. Their surfaces absorbed light. Their engines gave off no visible energy. Their weapons were hidden beneath smooth armor. Inside one of the ships, a human commander stood in the center of a dim control room. His crew moved quietly around him. No one spoke loudly. No one showed emotion. A screen in front of him displayed a map of nearby systems. One location was highlighted, an alien patrol route, regular, predictable, careless. The commander looked at it for a long moment. Then he gave a simple order: track them. Days passed. The alien patrol ships moved through space, as they always did, scanning, reporting, watching. They were not expecting danger. Why would they? Humans were weak. Humans were hiding. The first sign that something was wrong was silence. A patrol ship sent a routine signal. Then nothing. No follow-up. No status update. No distress call. At first, it was ignored. Probably a system error, one officer said, or a minor malfunction. But then a second ship failed to report. Then a third. Now there was concern. A search vessel was sent to investigate. It arrived at the last known location. The crew scanned the area. Nothing. No wreckage. No energy readings. No signs of battle. It was as if the ships had simply disappeared. One of the alien officers frowned. "That is not possible," he said. "Ships do not vanish. Not like this." Far away, hidden behind an asteroid field, human ships waited. They did not celebrate. They did not speak. They simply watched the data. 3 successful hunts. Clean. Efficient. No trace left behind. The human commander nodded once. "Continue," he said. Back in the Galactic Council, reports began to arrive. Missing patrols. Unexplained disappearances. At first, the leaders dismissed it. Pirates. Navigation errors. Unstable space regions. Excuses came easily, because the truth was uncomfortable. But not everyone ignored it. One older council member, a being with pale skin and deep, dark eyes, studied the reports carefully. "These are not accidents," he said quietly. The others looked at him. "What do you mean?" He pointed at the data. The ships vanish in similar patterns. Same time gaps. Same lack of debris. "That suggests control," he continued. "Something is taking them." A few leaders shifted in their seats. "Who?" one asked. The older being hesitated. Then he spoke the word slowly. "Humans." The chamber reacted immediately. Laughter. Again. Stronger than before. "Humans," one leader said. "Impossible. They do not have this capability. They are hiding, not hunting." The older being did not argue, but his eyes showed concern. "You underestimate them," he said softly. Far beyond the council's reach, another alien fleet moved through space. Larger than the patrol ships, better armed, more confident. They had heard the reports of missing vessels, but they were not afraid. "Stay alert," their captain ordered, "but do not slow down." He believed it was nothing serious, just small threats, nothing worthy of concern. They entered a narrow region of space. Asteroids surrounded them. Sensors showed nothing unusual. Everything looked clear, too clear. Then darkness, not the normal darkness of space. Something deeper. Their sensors began to fail. Signals became weak. Communication lines flickered. "Report," the captain shouted. No clear answers came back, only confusion. Then the first ship disappeared, right in front of them. No explosion, no sound, gone. The crew froze. "What just happened?" someone whispered. Before anyone could answer, another ship vanished. Panic started to rise. "Enemy contact!" A voice finally shouted, but it was too late, because the enemy was already there. Human ships moved through the shadows. Fast, silent, precise. They did not attack wildly. They targeted carefully, one ship at a time, removing them from the battlefield like pieces on a board. Inside the alien flagship, fear spread quickly. "This is not possible," the captain said. But even as he spoke, his fleet was disappearing. A final message was sent out, short, broken, filled with fear. "We are under attack, unknown enemy. They are..." The signal cut off. Silence returned. In the darkness, human ships regrouped. No cheering, no celebration. Just another completed mission. The commander looked at the final report. Then he spoke one sentence. "They are beginning to notice." And across the galaxy, for the first time, the laughter started to fade. The reports could no longer be ignored. Across multiple systems, ships had vanished. Patrol routes went silent. Entire fleets stopped responding. What began as small concerns had now grown into something larger, something real. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the mood had changed. The laughter was gone. In its place, unease. A large projection filled the center of the room. Red markers blinked across several star systems. Missing ships. Lost fleets. Unexplained silence. One of the council leaders leaned forward, his voice no longer amused. "This is not random," he said. "This is organized." Another added, "The attacks are too precise, too clean. They leave no debris, no survivors, no trace. The chamber grew quiet. Then the same question returned. Who is doing this? No one laughed this time. Far away, in human-controlled space, things were moving faster. The first phase was complete. Observation, learning, testing. Now came the next step, expansion. Human fleets increased their range. More ships left hidden bases. More targets were selected, but the method stayed the same. Silent approach, precise strike, total disappearance. Inside one command ship, the human commander studied a new map. This one was larger, more complex. It showed not just patrol routes, but supply lines, fuel carriers, weapon transports, communication relays, the lifelines of alien power. A crew member spoke quietly. "Sir, these targets are more protected." The commander nodded. "Yes," he said, "that is why they matter." He paused, then gave the next order. "Begin Phase 2. The first strike hit a supply convoy. 10 ships carrying energy cores between two major systems. Heavily guarded, well-armed, confident. They had traveled this route many times before. Nothing had ever challenged them. That changed in seconds. Their sensors failed without warning. Navigation systems froze. Weapons could not lock onto targets. Panic spread across the convoy. What is happening? No signal. I can't see anything. Then the attacks began. Human ships appeared for brief moments, just long enough to strike. Precise hits. Critical systems disabled. Engines destroyed. Escape routes cut off. The convoy tried to fight back, but they were fighting shadows. Every time they fired, there was nothing there, and every second, another ship was lost. Within minutes, the convoy was gone. No survivors. No evidence. Only silence. The effect was immediate. Across the galaxy, supply routes began to fail. Stations reported missing deliveries. Fleets ran low on energy. Communication delays increased. Confusion spread. What is happening? Commanders demanded. No one had answers. Back in the council chamber, the tension grew heavier. They are not just attacking ships anymore, one leader said. They are targeting our infrastructure. Our systems are weakening. Our fleets cannot operate without supplies. A cold realization began to form. This was not random violence. This was strategy. The older council member, the one who had spoken before, looked around the room. "You see it now," he said quietly. "They are not fighting like us. They are not meeting us in open battle. They are removing our strength piece by piece." A younger leader stood up, anger in his voice. "Then we strike back," he said. "We send our full fleets into human space and destroy them." Murmurs of agreement followed. "Yes. End this quickly. Crush them." But the older one shook his head. "You still do not understand," he said. "If you go to them, you'll find nothing. They are not waiting. They are moving. They are hunting." Silence returned, because deep down, they knew he was right. In deep space, another human fleet prepared for a different kind of mission. Not a strike, not a hunt, a message. They selected a target carefully. A military outpost. Important, but not critical. Visible, but not heavily defended. Perfect. The human ships approached slowly. This time, they did not hide completely. They allowed themselves to be seen. Inside the alien outpost, alarms sounded. Unknown ships detected. Multiple contacts. Prepared defenses. For the first time, the aliens saw them clearly. Human ships. Dark, sharp, silent. "They came to us," one officer said in disbelief. "Why?" The answer came quickly. The human fleet did not wait. They attacked. Fast, direct, overwhelming. The battle was short. The outpost offenses failed quickly. Ships were destroyed. Systems collapsed. Control was lost. Then something unexpected happened. The human ship stopped. They did not finish destroying everything. They did not wipe out the station completely. Instead, they left something behind. A signal. broadcast across all frequencies. Simple, clear, impossible to ignore. The message reached every major system, every council world, every fleet command. It contained only a few words. You were warned. The reaction was immediate. Fear, real fear, not uncertainty, not confusion. Fear, because now they knew this was not random. This was not chaos. This was intentional. Humans had not forgotten the attack on their colony. They had not forgiven. And now they were answering. Back on Earth, the human leadership watched the response. They saw the panic spreading, the hesitation, the fear. One advisor spoke quietly. They are beginning to understand. The leader nodded. Yes, he said, but not enough. He turned to the main screen. More targets appeared, more systems, more opportunities. We continue, he said, and across the galaxy, for the first time in its long history, the hunters were no longer hidden. They had stepped into the light, and they were not done. The message spread faster than any attack. You were warned. It echoed across every major system. It appeared on military screens, trade networks, private channels, and deep space relays. No one could block it. No one could hide from it. And this time, no one laughed. Across the galaxy, fear began to take shape. Not loud, not chaotic, but quiet, heavy. Ships started traveling in larger groups. Patrols doubled their numbers. Commanders checked their systems again and again, looking for weaknesses they had never cared about before. Because now they knew the humans were not gone. They were not hiding. They were choosing their moments. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the tension had reached its peak. The leader sat in silence as reports filled the air. Supply chain failures increasing. Outer systems losing contact. Military response times delayed. Our fleets are slowing down. Each report made the situation clearer. They were losing control. Not in one place. Everywhere. A tall leader stood up, his voice sharp. This cannot continue, he said. We are the rulers of this galaxy. We will not be hunted like prey. Another added quickly, then we must change our approach. How? Someone asked. No one answered immediately, because the truth was simple. They had never faced an enemy like this. The older council member spoke again, his calm voice cutting through the tension. You are still thinking like rulers, he said. You believe power is control. He paused, letting his words settle. But they do not seek control. They seek balance. A few leaders looked confused. Balance, one repeated, the older being nodded slowly. They were attacked, he said, without warning, without reason. Their people were destroyed. He looked around the room. And now, they are returning that feeling. Silence followed, because now it made sense. This was not war for territory. This was not conquest. This was something else, something more personal. Meanwhile, deep in space, human fleets continued their work, but something had changed. They were no longer just removing targets. They were shaping the battlefield. A large alien shipyard floated near a gas giant. It was one of the most important construction points in that region. Dozens of ships were being built. Hundreds more were docked. It was heavily protected. Or at least, it used to be. Weeks before, human forces had already begun their work. Small, unnoticed actions. A relay station destroyed. A supply convoy removed. A communication node disabled. Each action seemed minor, but together they created a gap. Now, the shipyard was exposed, and it did not even know it. Human ships gathered at the edge of the system, hidden behind the gas giant's shadow, watching, waiting. Inside the command ship, the human commander stood quietly. His crew was ready, weapons locked, targets marked. Begin, he said. The attack was sudden. No warning, no signal. Human ships moved in fast, striking key points first. Defense systems went offline within seconds. Docked ships could not power up in time. Construction platforms lost control. The alien defenders tried to respond, but everything was happening too fast. Systems failed before they could be used. Orders were given, but never reached their targets. Within minutes, the shipyard was burning. Massive structures broke apart. Unfinished ships drifted into space. Explosions lit up the darkness. For the first time, the aliens saw the full scale of the threat. This was not random. This was planned. Carefully, patiently, perfectly. A final transmission escaped the system. Short, panicked. They are everywhere. We cannot. The signal ended. Back in the council chamber, the report arrived. No one spoke. They did not need to. The truth was clear. They were not facing an enemy. They were facing a strategy they did not understand. A younger leader finally broke the silence. "We gather everything," he said. "All fleets, all forces." His voice was firm now. "We stop reacting. We strike back." Others began to agree. "Yes, we unite our strength. We end this." This time no one laughed, because this time it felt necessary. The decision was made. For the first time in generations, the full power of the alien alliance would come together. A single massive fleet, larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their target, Earth, in human space. The movement was detected immediately. Long-range sensors picked up the formation. Energy readings confirmed it. Fleet after fleet gathering into one. Inside the human command center, the atmosphere was calm. Not surprised, not afraid, prepared. "They are coming," one officer said. The commander nodded. "Yes," he replied. A younger officer looked at the data, concern in his eyes. "Their numbers are overwhelming." The commander looked at him. "Good," he said. The officer hesitated. "Good, sir." The commander turned back to the main screen. A new map appeared, different from the others, more detailed, more complex. "This is what we wanted," he said. "They have finally committed everything." He paused. "Now they are predictable." The room became still, because now they understood. All the attacks, all the disappearances, all the pressure. It was not just revenge. It was preparation. The commander gave the next order. "Begin final phase." Across human space, hidden fleets began to move. From deep space, from dark regions, from places no one had ever seen. They were not running. They were not hiding. They were positioning. And as the largest alien fleet in history moved toward Earth, they did not realize they were walking into a hunt. The galaxy held its breath. For the first time in its long history, everything slowed. Trade routes went quiet. Civilian ships stayed close to safe zones. Even distant systems, far from the coming conflict, felt the tension spreading through space like a cold wave, because everyone knew what was coming. A single massive alien fleet was now moving toward human space. It was the largest force ever assembled. Thousands of warships, heavy cruisers, battle carriers, siege platforms. Species that once competed with each other now stood side by side, united by one goal: end humanity. From a distance, the fleet looked unstoppable, a wall of metal and fire stretching across the darkness. Their engines lit the void with endless streams of energy. Their weapons were charged. Their shields were strong. Their confidence had returned. This time, they would not underestimate. Inside the flagship, the alien high commander stood tall. His voice carried across the bridge. "This ends now," he said. "No more games. No more shadows." He looked at the display showing human space ahead. "We crushed them completely." The crew responded with focus. No fear, only determination, because this time they believed they had control. Far ahead of them, human space remained quiet. No large fleets, no visible defenses, no resistance. One alien officer frowned. "Scans show no major military presence," he said. The commander narrowed his eyes. "They are hiding again." Another officer spoke, uncertain. "Or waiting." The fleet continued forward, closer, deeper, into human territory. Still nothing. Then something changed. Not an attack, not a signal, just a small detail. Their long-range sensors began to show strange readings. Faint, unclear, moving at the edges of detection. Report, the commander ordered. We are picking up multiple contacts, the officer said slowly. But they are not stable. They appear and disappear. The commander's expression hardened. Stay alert, he said. Minutes passed. Then more readings appeared. Closer now. Still unclear. Still shifting. They are surrounding us, another officer whispered. The commander raised his voice. All ships, defensive formation. Prepare for engagement. The fleet adjusted. Weapons locked. Shields increased. They waited. Nothing happened. The silence stretched. Heavy, uncomfortable. Then the first strike came. Not from the front, not from the sides. From within. A bright flash tore through one of the central ships. It exploded instantly. No warning. No time to react. What was that? Someone shouted. Before anyone could answer, another explosion. Then another. Chaos spread through formation. Internal breach. Unknown attack vectors. We are being hit from inside the formation. The commander stared at the display. His fleet was breaking apart. Find them, he ordered. Lock targets. But there were no clear targets. Human ships move like ghosts. They appeared for a fraction of a second, just enough to strike. Then they vanished again. They were not attacking randomly. They were targeting key ships, command vessels, communication hubs, shield coordinators. Each loss created confusion. Each strike made the fleet weaker. They are disrupting our coordination, an officer shouted. We cannot maintain formation. The commander clenched his fists. Push forward, he ordered. Do not stop. The fleet moved again, trying to force its way through, trying to regain control. But the deeper they went, the worse it became. New signals appeared, stronger now, clearer. Human fleets. Not one, not two, dozens. Hidden until now, waiting. They closed in from all directions. For the first time, the alien fleet saw the full scale of the trap. This was planned, the commander said quietly. Every movement, every attack, every loss, it had led them here. You pulled us in, he realized. And now there was no escape. Retreat, an officer shouted. But it was too late. Behind them, more human ships appeared, cutting off their path, blocking their exit. They were surrounded. Completely. The human commander watched from his ship, calm, focused. This is it, one of his crew said quietly. He nodded. Begin final engagement. This time, the humans did not hide. They attacked openly. Wave after wave of ships moved forward, fast, precise, relentless. Alien ships fired back. Energy beams filled the darkness. Explosions lit up space. It was no longer silent. It was war. But even in open battle, the humans kept their advantage. They moved in coordinated patterns, each ship supporting the others. Each attack timed perfectly. They did not waste energy. They did not lose focus. And most importantly, they did not stop. The alien fleet began to collapse. Ships lost power. Weapons failed. Command chains broke. Panic returned, stronger than before. We are losing control. We cannot hold them. They are everywhere. The commander stood frozen, watching everything fall apart. All their strength, all their power. It meant nothing here, because they had entered a battlefield designed by their enemy. A battlefield where they were not hunters, but prey. One final transmission was sent from the flagship. Not a command, not a threat, a warning. To all forces, do not engage humans, do not. The signal cut off. The flagship exploded. And with it, the last hope of victory. Silence slowly returned. Wreckage drifted through space. Broken ships. Fading signals. The greatest fleet ever assembled was gone. Human ships moved through the debris, scanning, confirming. No celebration. No cheering. just quiet completion. The human commander looked at the battlefield. "It's over," someone said. He shook his head slightly. "No," he replied. "It's remembered." The silence after the battle felt heavier than the war itself. Wreckage drifted slowly across the void. Broken ships, shattered hulls, and fading energy signals filled the space where the greatest fleet in the galaxy had once stood. There were no formations now, no commands, no power, only debris. Human ships moved carefully through the field, scanning, recording, confirming. Every destroyed vessel was checked, every signal traced until it faded completely. They were not celebrating. They were finishing the mission. Inside the command ship, the human commander stood still, watching the final reports appear one by one. Enemy flagship destroyed. Primary fleet neutralized. No organized resistance detected. A pause followed. Then the final line appeared. Objective complete. No one cheered. No one smiled. The room stayed quiet. The commander gave a single nod. "Stand down, combat operations," he said. Across the fleet, weapons powered down. Engines slowed. Ships shifted from attack positions to control movement. The hunt was over. But the galaxy was not the same. News of the battle spread quickly, faster than anything before. Not through official channels, not through controlled broadcasts, but through fragments, broken signals, survivor logs, emergency transmissions. Every system received the same message in different forms. The alien alliance had fallen. The massive fleet was gone, destroyed, completely. At first, many refused to believe it. It is impossible. No force could do this. There must be survivors. But as more data arrived, the truth became clear. There were no survivors. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders gathered once again. But this time the room felt smaller, quieter. Many seats were empty. Their owners had been part of the fleet. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, one voice broke the silence. "What do we do now?" No one answered immediately, because for the first time, they did not have control. The older council member stood slowly. His expression was not surprised, not shocked, just certain. "This is a result," he said, "of ignoring what we did not understand." Another leader looked at him, anger mixed with fear. "Then what do you suggest?" he asked. "We fight again?" The older one shook his head. "No," he said, "we learn." The word felt strange in the room, unfamiliar. "Humans are not like us," he continued. "They do not measure strength the same way. They do not show power until they must." He paused. "And when they do, it is already too late." Silence followed again. Across the galaxy, smaller alien factions began to react. Some pulled their fleets back to defend their home systems. Some shut down long-range travel completely. Some tried to erase all records of their past actions against humans. Fear was everywhere now. Not loud, not chaotic. Controlled, careful. Because every species understood one thing. They could be next. In human space, things were different. There were no victory parades, no loud announcements, no celebration across cities. Life continued, as it always had. Ships returned to their stations. Fleets moved back into hidden positions. Command centers shifted to observation mode. It was as if nothing had changed. But everything had. In one quiet room on Earth, the human leadership gathered again. The same room where the first decision had been made. The same silence filled the space. An officer spoke first. "The alien alliance has collapsed," he said. "No unified threat remains." Another added, "Several systems have already sent signals requesting peace." A third said quietly, "Some are offering alliances." The leader listened to all of it. Then he spoke. "We do not respond yet." The others looked at him. "We wait," he continued. A moment of confusion passed through the room. "Wait for what?" someone asked. "For them to understand," he replied. He stood and walked toward the large window. Earth stretched out below, calm, alive. "We did not do this for power," he said. "We did not do this for control." He turned slightly. We did this so it would not happen again. No one argued, because they all knew it was true. Days passed, then weeks. Slowly, messages began to arrive. Not threats, not demands. Apologies. Formal, careful, respectful. Some were short, some were long. Some tried to explain. Some simply asked for peace. Humans did not rush to answer. They read every message. They studied every sender. They waited. And across the galaxy, everyone waited with them. Because now the roles had changed. Humans were no longer the weak newcomers. They were not just another species. They were something else. Something the galaxy had never faced before. A force that did not seek war, but would finish it completely. A people who did not need to prove their strength, because it had already been proven. A species that had been mocked, ignored, attacked, and had answered with precision, with patience, with purpose, and now with silence. The same silence that had once been mistaken for weakness. The same silence that had hidden the beginning of the hunt. Now it meant something different. Now it meant control. And across the stars, one truth settled into every mind. The galaxy had laughed at humanity, but it would never make that mistake again.